This video was made possible thanks to the continued support of the incredible patrons listed on screen now. Thank you so much for your amazing generosity. If you use Flipside Gaming for your Magic related purchases, then be sure to use the code Affinity at the checkout for 10% off orders over $10. Or if you prefer one of these other fantastic sites, then please access them via our affiliate link in the video description. It won't cost you a single cent extra, but it really helps out the channel. Hello everybody and welcome to another EDH gameplay video brought to you by Affinity for Commander. My name is Martin and today we are once again joined by Chris, the Commander Mechanic, as well as Clay, a newcomer to the channel. But before we begin, it's once again time to remind you all of our biggest competition yet. We are going to be giving away 5 €20 vouchers for our latest affiliate, cardmarket.com. To be in with a chance of winning, you simply have to follow these 3 easy steps. Step 1. Be subscribed to the channel. Step 2. Like this video. And step 3. Leave us a comment down below telling us what you would spend your €20 voucher on if you were a winner. Entries are limited to 1 per person on each of our videos between the 1st of March and the 30th of March, with our winners being announced in the 31st of March video. So be sure to go back and watch our previous 2 videos from this month for additional entries. There's literally no reason why you shouldn't. So with that done and dusted, let's take a look at what decks you'll be seeing in this episode. This week I am playing my Sidisi Brood Tyrant deck, with the aim being to mill myself in as many ways as possible. This should, all being well, create me an army of zombies, which I plan on making stronger with a selection of lords and support cards. I keep an opening hand containing Rograkh Excavator, Splinterfright, Gisa and Geralf, Underrealm Lich, Thornwood Falls, Llanowar Wastes and a forest.
My commander is Tuvasa the Sunlit, who I plan on buffing with a variety of auras and enchantments. Although the deck is mainly Voltron focused, it does contain a powerful Enchantress sub-theme, letting me draw through my deck at a much faster rate than most equipment-based Voltron decks. My opening hand is made up of Burgeoning, Thassa, God of the Sea, Shield of the Oversoul, Breeding Pool, Fortified Village, Hinterland Harbour, and a forest.
Chris is playing his Fynn the Fangbearer deck, with plans of eliminating the rest of us with poison damage rather than reducing our life totals to 0. To achieve his goal, he is playing a lot of low-costed Death Touch creatures, as well as a lot of evasion to allow his creatures to hit us unopposed. Chris keeps a starting hand of Moss Viper, Tajuru Blightblade, Thornweald Archer, Hornet Nest, Garruk's Uprising, and 2 forests.
And finally, Clay is playing their Rograkh, son of Rograkh, an Ardenn Intrepid Archaeologist equipment deck. Similarly to me, Clay aims to win by dealing lots of damage with their suited up commander, utilising Ardenn's ability to attach their equipment to Rograkh without having to pay any equip costs. Their opening hand consists of Keleth Sunmane Familiar, Goldvein Pickaxe, Odric Loon Arch Marshal, Arcane Lighthouse, Sunhome Fortress of the Legion, Thriving Heights, and a mountain. I am randomly selected by the almighty spell table gods to go first and play Llanowar Wastes. Next I cast the Soul Ring that I just top decked and pass to Chris. Chris plays a forest and casts Sedge Scorpion. Happy with his play, he passes the turn.
Alex plays a forest and casts Burgeoning. Unable to do anything else, he ends his turn.
Clay begins their turn by casting one of their commanders, Rograkh, son of Rograkh. They then play Thriving Heath, choosing a red as a secondary colour that the land can produce. My Burgeoning triggers, allowing me to put Hinterland Harbour into play, and Clay passes to Martin.
I pay 1 life to tap my land for a green mana, which I then use to help cast Rograkh Excavator. Next I play Thornwood Falls, gaining a life back, and Alex puts Frontier Village into play with his enchantment. With nothing left to do, I pass the turn.
Chris plays a forest, and I respond by playing Bant Panorama. Chris then casts his commander, Fynn the Fangbearer. Moving to combat, he attacks me, given that I'm the only player without any creatures. I take 1 damage and gain 2 poison counters thanks to Fynn's ability.
So it begins.
Pleased to have already poisoned someone on turn 2, Chris ends his turn. I respond to this by sacrificing my panorama, searching my library for Prairie Stream, and putting it into play tapped.
Hey, wait a minute, that's not a basic land.
One day we will have a game where one of us doesn't misplay, but alas, today is not that day. Blissfully unaware of my illegal play, I proceed to my turn.
Alex plays Sunpetal Grove and casts his commander, Tuvasa the Sunlit. Keeping a suspicious 2-mana open, Alex passes to Clay.
Clay plays a mountain, and I put Breeding Pool into play tapped. Clay then casts Keleth Sunmane Familiar.
Such a majestic horsey.
Indeed. Not wishing to risk attacking with his 0-powered commander, Clay passes the turn.
I play Forest and pay 1 life to Llanowar Waste in order to cast my commander, Sidisi Brood Tyrant. I mill 3 cards of my Naga's ETB, 2 of which are revealed to be creatures. This triggers Sidisi's other ability, creating me a 2/2 zombie token, and I then move to combat. Here I attack Alex with my Excavator, which he decides not to block with his 2/2 commander. He takes 2 damage, and I then end my turn.
Chris misses his land drop and moves straight to combat. Here he attacks Clay with both of his creatures, and Clay blocks the Scorpion with their Sun Mane. Both animals are destroyed, and Clay takes 1 damage and 2 poison counters from the unblocked Fangbearer. In his post-combat main phase, Chris casts Tajuro Blightblade, followed by Moss Viper. Out of mana, he passes to me.
Alex begins his turn by casting Shield of the Oversoul, giving his commander +3/+3, indestructible and flying.
Not bad for 3 mana, really.
He draws a card from Tuvasa's ability and ends his turn.
Clay plays Sunhome, Fortress of the Legion, and uses it to cast Shadow Spear. Next, they use their remaining mana to cast Gold Vein Pick and pass to Martin.
I play the Simic Guildgate in my graveyard with Ramanov Excavator's ability, and lose yet another life to my waste to help cast Gisa and Geralf. I mill 4 cards with the Siblings ETB, putting multiple creatures into my graveyard in this way. Sidisi triggers, creating me a 2/2 zombie, and I then move to combat. Here I attack Clay with my commander, and send a zombie and my Excavator at Chris. Sidisi mills me another 3 cards when she attacks, creating me yet another zombie, and neither of my opponents declare any blockers. Chris takes 4, Clay takes 3, and I pass the turn.
Do you have enough zombies there?
No.
Chris plays a forest and casts Hornet's Nest. I wonder if anyone will kick it. He then moves to combat, where he attacks Clay with his Blight Blade and Fynn, and Clay decided not to block either creature. They take 2 damage and gain 4 more poison counters, and Chris promises not to attack Clay whilst they are behind.
How nice of him.
Pleased with his position in the game, Chris ends his turn.
Alex plays Mosswort Bridge, exiling one of the top 4 cards of his library underneath the land for later use. Next he casts Thassa, God of the Sea, drawing a card with Tuvasa's ability. Still holding off from attacking for some reason, Alex passes to Clay.
Clay starts their turn by playing Arcane Lighthouse and casts their other commander, Ardenn, Intrepid Archaeologist. Moving to combat, Clay uses Ardenn's ability to attach all of their equipment to Rograkh, and then swings the dual-wielding kobold at me. Unable to block the creature, given that it has menace, I take 2 damage. Clay makes a treasure thanks to their pickaxe, and with nothing more to do, passes the turn.
I play Terramorphic Expanse, which I immediately sacrifice to put an island into play tapped. This, combined with the Wonder in my graveyard, gives all of my creatures flying, and I declare my intentions to lower Alex's life total by a decent amount this turn.
Oh no.
Not yet finished, I use Gisa and Geralf's ability to cast the Lord of the Accursed in my graveyard, giving my undead a nice +1/+1 bonus.
Oh no.
I lose a life to Llanowar Waste in order to do this, and then move to combat. Here I attack Alex with my Excavator and 3 3/3 zombies, and Chris with my commander. Sidisi triggers, milling me 3 creatures and making me another zombie token, and Alex blocks Ramanov Excavator with Tuvasa. Chris takes 3, Alex takes 9, and I move to my post-combat main phase. Here I cast Splinter Fright, who enters as a 10/10 with Trample, and end my turn.
Chris plays a forest and then moves to combat. He attacks me with both of his 1/1 death touches, and I block Moss Viper with my indestructible Merfolk. The tiny snack is destroyed, and I take 1 damage and gain 2 poison counters from the unblocked elf. In his second main phase, Chris casts Thorn-Wield Archer and then passes to me.
Alex scries the top card of his library to the bottom with Thassa's ability, and then draws for turn. He plays a forest, casts Core Spirit Dancer, and then casts Abundant Growth, enchanting an untapped forest. Alex draws from Tuvasa, draws from his Spirit Dancer, and then draws from his Aura.
All the card draw!
Not yet finished, he casts Mystic Remora, this time drawing 0 cards.
Sad Alex.
Still not done, Alex casts Courser of Kruphix, revealing the top card of his library to be Fertile Ground. Satisfied with the number of cards he now has in play, Alex ends his turn.
Clay plays a Plains and then casts Odric Lunarch Marshal. They then consider moving to combat, but ultimately decide that everyone else has enough blockers to make attacking a bad decision, and passes to Martin.
I mill 2 cards of my upkeep with Splinter Fright's ability, but sadly don't mill any more creatures.
Oh, you poor thing.
I know. I then play a Swamp and cast the Diagraph Captain in my graveyard, lowering Splinter Fright's power by 1, but pumping my zombies to 4/4s, so it's totally worth it. Next I pay 1 life to Llanowar Waste in order to activate Lord of the Accursed ability, giving my zombies menace until the end of turn. Moving to combat, I attack Alex with Splinter Fright and my 4/4/4 zombies with menace and flying, and also attack Chris with Sidisi. I mill 3 cards with my commander, putting 2 creatures into my graveyard in this way. Splinter Fright gets a +2/+2 power boost, and I create yet another zombie token.
My word, Sidisi has put work in this game.
Tell me about it. Before blockers are declared, Alex casts the card that he had hidden away at Mosswarp Bridge, revealing it to be Control Magic. He targets Chris's Thorn-Wield Archer with the Aura, and Chris responds to this by casting Titanic Brawl. He lets Alex draw a card from his Mystic Remora, and then has his Hornet's Nest fight my Splinter Fright. The nest is obliterated, and Chris creates 11 1/1 insect tokens with Flying and Death Touch.
Oh dear!
Alex then draws 2 cards thanks to his commander and Core Spirit Dancer, revealing them to be Overgrowth and Kestia the Cultivator. The new top card of his library is revealed to be Heliod, God of the Sun, and Alex gains control of Chris's Archer. Blockers are then declared, with Chris choosing not to block Sidisi, and Alex blocking my Splinter Fright with his now 11/11 commander. My Elemental is destroyed, Chris takes 3, and Alex takes a whopping 16 damage.
Ow!
Deeply concerned about Chris's army of buzzy boys, I reluctantly pass the turn.
Chris spends a couple of minutes deciding how he wants to attack this turn and attempts to strike up a deal with me. He proposes that he won't take me out if I knock Clay out of the game before attacking him, and I gracefully reject his offer, given that I currently have no way of dealing with Chris's swarm of insects without some help. Disappointed with my response, Chris attacks Martin with 6 of his Hornets, Fynn and Tidra Blightblade, and me with his remaining 5 flyers. I block 2 insects, and Martin blocks Fynn and 2 Hornets. Unfortunately for Martin and I though, this results in both of us taking a lethal dose of poison counters, knocking us out of the game.
I'm going to make Chris lose a life from my Diagraph Captain's ability first though.
You do that, dear, for all the good it'll do.
Makes me feel better.
In his second main phase, Chris recasts his commander and ends his turn.
Clay plays a mountain and casts Quietus Spike. They then move to combat, equipping their spike to their Kobold of Ardenn's ability, and Odric grants all of their creatures First Strike, Flying, Menace and Lifelink. Clay attacks Chris with all of their creatures, dealing him 7 points of First Strike damage. Goldvein Pick triggers, creating them a treasure, and Quietus Spike triggers, halving Chris's life total down to 11. Once their triggers have resolved, Clay responds by giving Rograkh double strike with Sunhome, Fortress of the Legion. We double check that they can actually do this mid-combat, and going by rule 704.2d, it looks like they can.
The more you know.
Regular damage then occurs, and Chris takes another 2 damage. Quite a spike triggers once more, lowering Chris to 4 life, but Clay is unfortunately unable to deal him any further damage.
So close.
Out of mana, Clay passes to Chris.
Chris wastes no time moving to combat, where he overwhelms Clay with his army of 1/1 Death Touch flyers with their poisonous stingers.
Buzz, buzz. Well, that's it for another game. I hope that you enjoyed seeing everyone die to 1/1 insect tokens and have a deeper understanding of why I personally hate infect damage. Don't forget that you can help to support the channel in 4 quick and easy ways: subscribing, liking this video, clicking that bell icon, and leaving us a comment below. I read every one. We are so close to making 10,000 subscribers, and it would mean the world to us if we could hit it by the end of the year. And if you really want to show your support to the channel, then consider checking out our Patreon page, where you can find rewards such as custom tokens and playmats for as little as $1 a month. That's all for now though, we'll see you next time. Stay awesome!